Now, the crop tool represents possibly the largest single improvement to CS6. The designers really had their thinking caps on when they redesigned this tool because it really does reduce the steps in post considerably, especially if you have a lot of cropping to do. Let's take a look at what's here, and we click on the icon here, number 5 from the top on the toolbar. You'll notice the drop-down list that comes up that includes obviously the crop tool, but also a new feature in CS6 called the Perspective Crop Tool. It's also very cool. We'll take a closer look at that later. Now, you'll notice the Slice tool and the Slice Select tool. The two Slice tools were actually something more useful in web design. In the old days of 56K dial-up, web designers were very cognizant of upload and download times, and slicing up an image was one way of accelerating that process. Image slicing is not really done anymore due to the increased use of broadband internet connections, which makes it kind of a non-issue. But if you wanted to slice up your image, you just come down and do that, and it slices the image up in different sections that load more quickly than a whole image by itself. So let's go back to the beginning, and we'll click on the drop-down list, take the crop tool, and notice the new boundaries that come up, the new borders on the image that come up, and it's very easy just to click on one corner, hold down the shift key, left click, and of course drag if you want to crop and maintain the same aspect ratio as the original image. If, however, you want to do something custom, just don't hold down the shift key, left click and drag, and then you can size this thing up any way you want to. But let's say we like that for no particular reason, then we can of course adjust within the crop boundaries to whatever it is that we're looking for. Let's go back and reset these boundaries. Now, one of the really neat things that's brand new in the crop tool is the straighten tool. Let's go ahead and click on that. And you'll notice this image is a little bit crooked, but let's get rid of this rule of thirds. And we'll take away the overlay. We'll go over overlays here in just a second. But you'll notice this is a little bit of a crooked image, and we can do this one of two ways. We can either take the horizontal line over here, and then we draw along the area we want to be straight, let go, and it automatically straightens. Not only does it automatically straighten, it automatically crops to allow for the tilt in the image. A very cool thing. And then of course we just double click on that to save that result. So let's go back to the beginning. We'll show you another way to straighten the image. We'll go ahead and click on this icon here. We can take the top of this tree, because as we know, trees grow straight up, which represent a vertical straight line. So we can use trees to straighten images very, very effectively in landscape, obviously. So we'll take the top of this tree and then drag it down to the reflection, the top of the tree, and the reflection we let go, and it also will straighten the image and crop it automatically, but still giving you the ability to move the image around if indeed you do want to do that. And again, you just double click to keep that result. So the crop tool has been made much, much easier to use. It eliminates a couple of steps in having to reposition and recrop after you have cropped. So here we have something that is a very definite aid in post processes. Now, as far as the overlay is concerned, let's take a look. We've got the rule of thirds, we've got the grid, we've got the diagonal, and let's go ahead and put those up there so that you can see them. And there's the diagonal, and then that of course is the rule of thirds. Here's the grid. If you like a lot of vertical and horizontal lines, you might have a very complicated image that in some way you might be able to use that. Here's the triangle, and so on. So if you like having guides to aid you in your cropping, then of course those overlays are there. So let's go ahead and take those down. And by no means have I shown you every single thing that the crop tool can do. It really is a situation where you need to go in and experiment with it to get the best out of it. But oh, it is so much simpler to crop. You just, move the guides along the image, and then of course reposition for whatever it is you're specifically looking for on the image. Let's go ahead and keep that because I like that result. So there you have it, the crop tool in Photoshop CS6.